I look in the mirror and see a stranger's face, and behind me, our bedroom. But it's not ours anymore, because she slept with him in my bed, in my sheets, under my blanket. And I was baking that same apple pie he used to call the best in town. Now I'm standing here, in front of the mirror, and I'm scared, because I keep replaying in my head those evening gatherings where you laugh a little louder, ask a little less often where he is, stay silent about your feelings. And maybe then he would have stayed. But he didn't stay, and that's the main thing I've realized over these 3 months. And I want you to watch till the end, especially if you're boiling with anger right now and want to turn the video off, because right here is where what you're watching this video for actually begins. I'm standing in front of the bathroom mirror, touching my face, looking for a wrinkle. Then I pull my hand away and look at myself as if I'm a stranger. My reflection is also standing in front of the mirror, searching for a flaw, not because there is one, but because your brain desperately needs a reason. And the reason is inside. It's control. If I'm bad, then I can become good. If I'm broken, then I can fix myself. I thought that too. I also believed that you could earn love by fixing yourself. That if I became more tolerant, more subdued, asked for less, he would look at me the way he used to. But he didn't. And you know why? Because I'm not broken. I was just using a childish control strategy because my little self still believes that love can be earned. It hurts to realize that, but it's in that realization that the first click of the lock happens, the one that leads to understanding. I'm sitting in the car, looking into the distance. My fingers are tapping on the steering wheel. Then I see her in the kitchen. She's laughing, but there's a nervous tension in her laughter. She's adjusting her hair more often than she needs to. And here's what I realized. He went to her not because she's better. He went to her because with her, he feels like less of a failure. With me, he saw a reflection of his own inadequacy. I was growing, developing, choosing wines and hotels, while he was standing still, afraid I'd notice. With her, he's the hero of a novel, the savior, the one people listen to with their mouths slightly open. She didn't take away my happiness, she bought it cheaply because she herself needs to feel significant by winning over me. This isn't a love triangle, it's a triangle of compensations, 2 people trying to assert themselves at my expense. And here's the insight that changes everything. I thought I was fighting for a man, but I was fighting against someone else's sense of inadequacy, which had nothing to do with me. I could have been a goddess, and I still would have lost, because the rules of the game weren't written for me, but for their childhood traumas, which they decided to heal not in therapy, but in my bed. I look at my phone. A notification from a friend is blinking, showing her name. Then there's a sudden flash of a memory. She's sitting at my table, I put the pie in front of her, and she says I'm her idol. Remember how she used to come to your kitchen, and you fed her that very same apple pie? She'd ask how you managed everything, work, renovations, relationships, and say she dreamed of being as put together as you. Now you think she was lying, but here's the unexpected twist. She wasn't lying. She really admired you, and that very admiration became torture for her, because next to you she felt invisible, small, stuck. Instead of building her own life, she chose the cheapest way to feel significant, to take from you what you had. It wasn't that she wanted him, she wanted your status, your confidence, your ability to hold everything together without falling apart. She didn't want your man, she wanted to be you, but on minimal settings. And you know what's the funniest part? In 3 months, she'll be baking him a pie, suffering because he compares her to you. And he will compare her because it's a habit, not about the food. You can't be truly satisfied by her. And at that moment, when she realizes she hasn't become you, but just an empty space next to him, she'll feel for the first time what you felt. But you won't be there anymore to hand her a napkin. I sit down at the table in the empty apartment, turn on the lamp, take out a notebook. The pen touches the paper. Right now, a voice is echoing in my head. So I'm not needed by anyone, so I can't trust anyone, so I'm doomed to be alone. But these aren't facts. their interpretations my brain passes off as axioms because it's easier to get through the night that way. But our suffering doesn't come from the event itself, but from the meaning we assign to it. Betrayal is a fact. I'm not good enough is my own invention, something I use to avoid risking myself again. If I'm bad, I don't have to go out into the world and be vulnerable. If all men are jerks, I don't have to learn how to choose. If friends are snakes, I don't have to build intimacy. It's a safety strategy that costs me too much. I'm paying for it with my future. And here's the question you should ask not him, but yourself. What if this event didn't come to break me, but to give me back what I sacrificed for him? My time, my ambitions, my ability to laugh loudly without asking for permission, that part of me that wants to be useful to the world, not just to one man. I walk down the night street, past the shop windows. I see my reflection in the glass, stop, take out my phone, look at the photo of us together, then delete it. The corners of my lips twitch, but it's not tears, it's something else. But wait, I promised you an unexpected twist, and here it is. You think the main tragedy is losing a man and a friend at the same time. Wrong. The main tragedy is that you still think of them as a loss. Now listen carefully, because this will change your life. You didn't lose love. You lost the illusion of controlling someone else's feelings. You didn't lose a friend. You lost a competitor who disguised herself as an ally. And here's the most interesting part. In 6 months, you'll meet a man who won't compare you to anyone, because next to you, he'll feel good enough not because you stay quiet, but because of your strength. And you'll laugh because she will have already overcome her sense of inadequacy, not through loss, but through creation. But that will only happen if you stop playing the who's to blame game and start playing the who am I becoming game. Because we aren't defined by our past, we're defined by the goal we set for ourselves. And your goal today isn't to get revenge, your goal is to build new relationships. Dawn. I'm on the balcony holding a cup of coffee. The wind is tousling my hair. I'm looking at the city waking up, and there are no tears in my eyes. There's depth instead, something you can't buy or steal. Let's put it all together. My intuition was screaming about danger, and it was right. The danger was real. My heart was crying over the betrayal, and it was right too. The pain was real. But now I see the whole picture. 2 frightened children in adult bodies staged a drama to avoid feeling worthless. And I, a grown woman, stepped into their game and almost lost myself. Today, I choose a different path. The first step is to acknowledge that his betrayal isn't a judgment of me, but his choice. The second is to acknowledge that her betrayal isn't my weakness, but her fear. The third is to ask myself what image of the future I want to see a year from now. And here's the answer. I want to wake up next to someone who doesn't need to prove their worth. I want to enjoy life with a man. I want to look in the mirror and see the architect of my own life. This isn't fantasy. It's what happens when you stop compensating for the past and start building a future that's useful not just for you, but for those around you. If you've made it this far, do it not for me, but for yourself. To mark the moment when you stopped being a victim and became the author of your own life. Save this video or send it to someone close to you, not because you're still in pain, but because in a month, one of your friends might be going through the same fire, and you'll be able to throw them this lifeline. Subscribe if you want your feed to be filled not with drama, but with tools. You're not the same person you were 10 minutes ago, and this is just the beginning.